Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And today I'm talking about the new album from BT. Okay everybody, this is kind of going to be a different video from the usual. You'll notice that it's a first impression rather than a full-on review. And this is because the currently released version of the album on iTunes and everywhere else digitally comprises only 1/3 of the full final product, which is being sold on a USB, which I believe is supposed to be shipped in December sometime. I actually didn't really want to hear this album at all until said USB arrived in my mail because of that. But after seeing BT retweet so many excited people gushing over the supposed awesomeness of this album, I couldn't take it anymore. And I just gave these 3 tracks one listen each, and typed this video up in the meantime. I'm not really going into a ton of detail, just some quick thoughts after having listened to the 3 exclusive tracks, not even gonna give a rating, just quick thoughts, first impression. Now, this album is set to be a sequel to an older BT album from 2006, This Binary Universe. Now, I've gone on record to say that there's only 3 albums I've heard in my lifetime so far that I currently consider to be worthy of a 10 out of 10, and This Binary Universe is one of those 3. From what I can tell, this album is basically more of the same kind of stuff found on This Binary Universe. So basically, you can guarantee a very high rating once the final thing comes out. Okay, so there's 3 tracks on the iTunes version called Artifacture, Indivism, and Omega. The first, Artifacture, is all over the place. Started out a little slow, with the first movement making me think it's gonna be like If the Stars Are Eternal, which, by the way, I do also really like, but not nearly as much as This Binary Universe. But the second movement builds it up and gets me hyped, and the rest goes every which way, taking me all over the place and plastering this stupid-looking smile on my face. Just pure, unadulterated awesome. And by the way, yeah, all 3 of these tracks are separated into several different movements, which can range anywhere from, like, 16 seconds to 8 minutes, usually around a minute each. But basically it just provides like an easier to understand map of all the things going on in any given track, which will be useful for when I eventually review the full thing, but whatever. Second track, Indivism, this like super glitchy one. BT going out of his way to be super impressive and show off. It's kind of like dynamic symmetry minus the jazz. And I wish there was a more positive way to put that. But the best part is probably the final movement, which is mostly ambient and slowly builds up in the same way the beginning of Artifacture did. Indivism's probably my least favorite of the 3 tracks, but it's still pretty awesome. And finally there's Omega. This track is like the song Hikari from If the Stars Are Eternal on steroids. I swear, it was like every movement in this track topped the previous one. There's like weird abstract dubstep experimentation in movement 2, there's awesome catchy melody in movements 4 through 8, the last movement has all these cascading synth melodies, and everything is just freaking breathtaking. My god, BT, I am hyped for that USB to arrive. That USB was $50, and if this is the kind of stuff I'm going to get, that money was well spent. I've only heard this digital version once, and quite frankly, while I want to blast these tracks in my ears even more, I'm going to resist the temptation, so that they're still fresh once I get the whole thing. I'm still treating this album as a preview more than a full album on its own merits, so unless that USB arrives before the end of the year, this probably won't qualify for the year-end list. But if it does, we're looking at a very likely #1 here. God, so excited for this. But yeah, of course that's just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing down there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time!